All right, so in this lesson, we're going to talk about the couple things that you need to do as a local business to get search engine optimization on working right. So you can be on, like they say, the right side of history when it comes to what you've done just for the basics around search engine optimization for your business. We help our clients with this all the time. If it sounds complicated, maybe jump over into the Facebook group and you can find out a ton more by just asking questions, and hopefully we'll be able to give you great answers because there's a ton of work you can do around this. All right, the things that you need to understand first is this concept called a NAP, N-A-P, and that's just a SEO term for name, address, and phone number. The way Google works is it validates who you are by going through a bunch of trusted searches, lists, indexes, and directories of businesses locally, and it looks for a consistent name, address, and phone number. And if it gets consistency at a really good level, it'll say, yes, you know what, this business is here, this business is at this location. I validated by going to 17 different sources. So when a search comes up for something in that area, let's say for psychotherapy, this particular practice shows up. And this one, because their NAP placements are inconsistent, will drop further down the list. And that could be devastating for a business if they don't come up near the top of the search and what they call the 3-pack of at the top near maps or just near the top of the search. So understand that getting your name, address, and phone number consistent across all the directories is really key. Now, I am not going to list all the directories here, but there is a service that I get no kickback, affiliate payment, or anything from. It's called Moz Local. I believe the service is for $99 a year, okay? But for free, just navigate to Moz Local, M-O-Z Local, and then go search your business. And if your business is under 60, 70%, you might need to look at fixing some of those directory listings. Now, Moz Local, what they do is they go and they help you fill in the gaps, figure out the inconsistencies, and work from there. There's nothing saying you can't do this on your own, organically, just by going from directory to directory on your own. For $99 a year, Moz makes sure everything is consistent. If there's a problem, they'll go out and help you fix it, notify you of it, and everything else. So they kind of take care of a lot of that for you. But when you go to this page and you go search your business, you'll understand how you stand. Now here's the other part of this. I'll let you know how much time you have. Look up your competitors. If they're worse than you, I mean, you could just end up being the cutest kid in an ugly family and be okay for now. But if you want to make sure that they don't figure this out, you need to address this either manually yourself or through a service like Moz Local. And you can always Google other services for, besides Moz Local. I think there's a couple other services that work through this, but it's definitely something that you're going to need to do to make sure your local citations are all aligned and straight. All right, I know that was complicated, but at the bottom line, you need to make sure your name, address, and phone number, and sometimes that name also is your web page or your website, your name, address, and phone number consistent across all the directories that Google would use to validate that you're a solid business and move you to the top of search results. Okay, number 2 is something, there's this thing called Google My Business. And I'm not telling you to Google My Business. Just go into your search, into your browser and type Google My Business and go to a point where you sign into Google. And if you don't have a Google account, it's worth it to take a few minutes to set one up. Go to Google My Business, set one up, and claim your business's Google My Business listing, okay? It's important that you do this because there are a lot of people who go to competitors, a lot of competitors who will go and take their competition's claim their competition's Google My Business site because it's not difficult to do. It's kind of shady if they did it, and Google's trying to crack down on it. But it's key that you grab yours by just filling out some of the basics. There's a lot more you could do with it, but just by filling out the basics, that's going to give you one more validation. And I told you that Google goes out and looks at all these different directories, and they rank those directories on a score in terms of their domain authority from anywhere from like maybe 40 to 70 to 60. But what Google loves is Google. And if your Google My Business is straight, the score Google gives itself is 100, right? So that is going to be weighted higher than some of these other ones. So if you get your Google My Business page straight, you'll be in a very, very enviable position relative to your competitors. So go to Google My Business, claim your listing. And this is how it's going to work. You're going to claim your listing, you're going to put some information in, and they're only going to let you get so far because they want to validate that you actually own the business. So what they're going to do, be ready for this, sometimes they can use phone numbers and emails, but for the most part, what they do is they send you a postcard. Yes, they send you a postcard in the mail. And this postcard goes to the address that you put in Google My Business. Remember, name, address, and phone number, your NAP needs to be consistent. It's going to come to that address. You're going to take that postcard, and on that postcard is a 4 or 6 digit code. You take that code and you go back to your Google My Business, you sign in, and you put in that code. And that validates that you own the business. And that's how Google is able to say that, yes, not only did we let somebody agree to the terms and said they own the business, we actually mailed them a postcard. They picked it up and they put in the code. Now you see how somebody could, if they were really being sinister, if you were a restaurant and you weren't picking up your mail right away and they knew that the mailman came at 10 and you didn't show up until noon, they went to your mailbox and pulled your Google My Business card. They could go claim your Google My Business if they initiated that themselves and you had no idea it was coming. That is a very low probability, but what is a high probability is that if you have that done, you'll do very well. So if you want to find out more about how Google My Business works and some other things you can do with Google My Business or some other information about local citations, feel free to click the link below and join us in our journey to help you and your business grow. But you can wait to the next lesson, or you can even jump over into our Facebook group and ask some questions about it, and we'll see if somebody in the group, or myself or somebody on my team, can answer it for you. So thanks for listening through this. Search engine optimization is super important. It is an investment. It does take time, but the basics need to be taken care of, and that's being listed properly so Google can validate who you are, and Google can validate who you are from trusted authorities. And one of the best trusted authorities to Google is Google. So thanks a lot, and I'll see you next time.